it's over. And hot damn, what an epic ride while it lasted. Daniel Warren Johnson. This one's for you, bud. Thank you so much for making these last 2 years so special for all of us. You're a legend, and don't let anyone ever tell you different. Let's roll out.
Till all our war, we raise our voices loud in the symphony of war. We'll never give up, light our darkest hour. Illuminate the fight, our bonds stand against the evil. Decepticons will fight for what's right.
This is going to be a tough one. Not only are we going to break down volumes 1 through 4 of Skybound Transformers, but we're also going to look at why this old fan fell in love with this hobby all over again. So sit back and enjoy as we jump right into this one. So when I say hobby, I mean comic book collecting. When this series started, initially I was going to probably skip it, but thanks to Moonbase 3, thanks again, buddy, I decided to give this one a shot. So I'm glad that I did, because this was a story for all Transformer fans. If you're new to the franchise, this is the best starting point ever. So, right out of the gate, in issue number 1, we knew this wasn't going to be your daddy's garden variety Transformers. This was going to be something completely different. The setup is similar. The Autobots ship, the Ark, crash lands on Earth, rams into a volcano, and both the Autobots and Decepticons sleep for X amount of time. And Volume 1 does a great job of, subverting our expectations, because what seems familiar gets turned right on its head. We're introduced to the core characters like Spike and Sparkplug, but this time they're not oil rig workers. No. Spike's just a regular high school kid, and his dad just a blue collar worker on land, and he's also a former military man, a veteran with PTSD. He's dealing with his demons, usually drinking his sorrows away, and as an unfortunate side effect of dealing with it in that manner, it's put a strain on his relationship with his son. And at this point, Spike already has a girlfriend, Carly, who is familiar to Transformer alumni. And just by accident, these two kids accidentally discovered the Ark crashed into a volcano. Not so well hidden. I'm surprised the government hadn't snooped it out earlier, but what are you gonna do? And instead of volcanic activity accidentally activating Teletran 1 and bringing the Autobots and Decepticons back online, instead, Jetfire just shows up, sees the carnage, being completely oblivious to what the hell's even going on, because he left Cybertron before the war even started. So he's out of the loop. So he, boop, 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 activates Teletran 1, starts bringing the Transformers back online, and he starts with his old buddy Starscream. And that's when the brutality of the series starts, when we see Starscream shoot Bumblebee right in the mouth. I don't even know if this is a knock against the Michael Bay version of Bumblebee, because he never spoke. That's pretty tongue-in-cheek if that was the case, but yeah, right out of the gate, issue 1, Bumblebee dead. To set the tone, don't get used to your fan faves. Anyone can go in this story. Naturally, this scares Jetfire, and Starscream just lashes out, damn near kills his own buddy. Optimus Prime gets brought back online along with Ratchet, and the Autobots are forced to retreat. And throughout the rest of this volume, they are on the back pedal. They're constantly running, trying to find ways of securing materials and energy necessary to bring the other Autobots back online, and they're constantly being pursued by the Decepticons. Without going into detail with every single issue, it all culminates at the end of issue 6. A handful of Autobots are back online. All of them are familiar crowd favorites. I love the fact that they did it this way, bit by bit, so that way they can really flesh out the characters, because in absence of Bumblebee not being around, Cliffjumper finally gets to jump into the spotlight. That's great, because I always thought of him as one of my faves, so it's good to see him finally get some love instead of him just being killed off every single iteration. I don't know when he suddenly turned into the, oh my god, they killed Kenny of this franchise, but it's good to see Cliff finally get a legitimate shot, because in case you didn't know, Cliffjumper actually survived the original series. Starscream, he asserts himself as the leader of the Decepticons because Megatron is MIA. No one knows where he is. He's not on board the Ark when it crash landed on Earth. And therefore, you know, Starscream being the ambitious, you know, little weasel that he is, he brings several more familiar Decepticons back online, including the Constructicons. In the finale of Volume 1, Devastator attacks the Ark. And this is what really changed things, and this would also has got a lot of people talking. At that critical moment, Prime is lying on a bed, dying. He was heavily damaged by Devastator, and Sparky, he is at a loss for words. Spike earlier caught a bullet and is on life support in a hospital. In order to save Spike's life, Optimus had to use the last bit of energy inside the Matrix of leadership to keep the hospital machines going, saving both Spike and everyone else's life in the hospital. But because of that, the Matrix is drained. And at that critical moment, Sparky decided to make the sacrifice, to make things right. He literally walks into the Matrix and it re-energizes it. That sacrifice somehow made it possible to rejuice the Matrix and instantaneously repair Optimus Prime. With that sudden jolt of energy, Optimus is able to beat Devastator, fully charged and repaired. What a finale that was. I mean, honest to God, no one saw that coming. And a lot of fans are going, well, I mean, can they even do that? Well, you never know, because the Matrix has always been like space magic. It's literally a piece of Primus's spark, so it's literally a piece of a god. So I'm asking the question, why can't it do it? Why shouldn't it? Why not? I'm all for it. I want to see where this goes, because, you know, besides the Matrix always being, you know, a one-shot kill against Unicron, or in the Michael Bay movies, the trigger to activate a doomsday weapon, this is something different, and I like it. Me and Prime using both his ion blaster and the fusion cannon in tandem was awesome. When he was taking on Devastator, it was sweet. When Skywarp is heavily damaged against the Autobots, Soundwave and Starscream cannibalize him. They literally just rip him apart and stick him to Talatran 1 as a means of bringing the other Decepticons back online. But his brother, Thundercracker, they never told him. They blamed it on the Autobots. And this is what segues into Volume 2. Immediately after the Decepticons' defeat at the hand of the revitalized Optimus Prime, Soundwave actually challenges Starscream to leadership of the Decepticons. He wins, hand over fist. It wasn't even a close fight. And the big finishing move was literally something out of Mortal Kombat.
Soundwave wins. Fatality. Soundwave superior, Starscream inferior.
With Soundwave in control, he takes a more direct approach to challenging the Autobots. Currently, the Autobots are working hard to, you know, reestablish a base of operations in the Ark, as well as trying to get Skywarp, who's still stuck to Teletran 1, to cooperate. Because Skywarp refuses to work with Autobots, he is literally preventing the Autobots from accessing Teletran 1. So he's locking them out. That's going to be a loophole they're going to have to figure out later on in the story. Carly is reeling because her father was killed by the Decepticons in Volume 1. Her hatred is all-consuming, and the Autobot RC is trying her best to, you know, reel her in. Don't go down that rabbit hole. Don't follow vengeance. I was there. I used to do that, and it doesn't end well. But unfortunately, it's rejected. Cliffjumper, who established a friendship with Carly in Volume 1, he gets pushed right aside. She's just angry right now, and a lot of people, myself including, thought maybe she just needs a little bit of space, but then she tries to smoke Skywarp, and RC literally takes the hit for the team, because if Skywarp dies, then they have no chance whatsoever of bringing Teletran 1 back into control. So, yeah, tempers are flying high. Plus, in Volume 2, there are introductions of several other fan favorite characters. Alita 1, who's leading a resistance of Autobots still stuck on Cybertron, not to mention Shockwave, who is essentially in charge of the Decepticons on Cybertron. Beachcomber, who fell out of the Ark before re-entering the atmosphere, hung out on the moon for a while. He's brought into Volume 2 as well, but he's a total pacifist. He's an Autobot that refuses to fight, and that makes him more of a detriment to the team than anything. Some familiar sights from the cartoon will definitely be noticed, like how the Decepticon ship is underwater, and it's used as a base of operations for Soundwave to create a space bridge to reestablish contact with the Decepticons on Cybertron. And that's where things go crazy. Right in the middle of Alita 1's failed operation to secure and rescue Ultra Magnus, she loses 3 of her own soldiers in the process. She loses Warpath, Huffer, and even Cup. Cup, the grizzly old veteran himself who never dies. Yeah, he gets smoked. Didn't see that coming. Like I said, don't get attached to no one. Through an unexpected twist of fate, she is dropped smack dab in the middle by running through the space bridge before Shockwave could on Earth with Ultra Magnus in tow, completely changing up the whole dynamic of what the Autobots were attempting to do. And because at that moment at Earth, Optimus Prime and the Autobots are attacking the Decepticon HQ underwater, and it just all goes up in smoke from there. Not knowing exactly what to do in that moment, so he decides to call a retreat. But unfortunately, Ratchet, he gets smoked, dies, and Jazz and Cliffjumper are left behind. They get taken prisoner by the Decepticons. Alita 1 and Ultra Magnus return with Prime and what's left of the Autobots to the Ark. Wheeljack work on Magnus, putting him back together, but as it's revealed later on, he suffers from some serious PTSD. And at that time as well, Prime is getting visions from within the Matrix. He's seeing Sparky's memories through his own eyes, because now Sparky's consciousness exists inside of the Matrix leadership. But there's also something else going on. He's starting to notice that in the midst of combat, he's getting more and more aggressive. It's almost like it's way too much, especially for Prime. So, but Alita 1, she doesn't seem to have a problem with that at all, because she thinks in order to beat the Decepticons, you have to go down to their level. So before the Autobots can plan their next move, Shockwave has already decided what he's going to do is he's going to literally suck the planet's ocean dry and harvest it for natural energon and send it directly back to Cybertron with the space bridge to, you know, keep fueling the Decepticons' war machine. The Autobots eventually get the drop on good old Shockwave, and without spoiling too much, yeah, the heroes win the day, sort of. But Shockwave and Optimus Prime do have like a final fight of sorts on Cybertron. At the critical moment, Prime, he starts losing himself again. He's getting corrupted. His eyes turn purple, and he brutalizes. He murders the living crap out of Shockwave.
Optimus Prime wins. Brutality.
It was at that point I myself started theorizing the Megatron arm attached to him is corrupting him, because that's a piece of Megatron. In this new iteration of the Transformers comic, Megatron's got some evil juju going with him too. He doesn't have to be attached to his arm for it to still be doing evil shit. I'm not kidding. But the plot twist at the end of Volume 2 is Alita 1's betrayal. She literally decides that we can use this energon and keep going. That was her plan, not just to simply use the energon that was already harvested and not let it go to waste for the Autobots. I might have been okay with that, but she said, no, let's just keep doing this. Let's suck this world dry. Who cares about the humans? As at that point, Alita 1 became the villain. And Optimus was put in that very hard position where he had to choose loyalty with his old comrade, maybe even girlfriend, we don't know their backstory yet, versus the moral right and wrong of destroying an innocent world just to, you know, keep fighting a war. So he chose to destroy the energon that was already harvested, and he returns to Earth. But unfortunately, Cliffjumper is abandoned by accident on Cybertron, which leads us into Volume 3. Now, Volume 3 really went into a lot of twists and turns. We finally learned the backstory of Starscream and what made him decide to join the Decepticons. That was unexpected. Astrotrain, who was introduced in Volume 2, sides with Starscream in a little Decepticon civil war. Not to mention Thundercracker. He finally learns what happened to Skywarp, and his loyalties to the cause, to the Decepticons, is put to the ultimate test. Even before Thundercracker in this volume finds out what really happened to Skywarp, that it was Soundwave and Starscream that brutalized his brother, even then, you could tell that the cracks are already starting to form. When the Decepticons go on a killing spree throughout Earth, Thundercracker blinks. He refuses to pull the trigger. He will not annihilate innocent human beings. And that reminds me of the version of him from the IDW comic where he said it best. The Decepticons are forged in honorable combat, not senseless slaughter. So, if anything, this goes against what he was supposed to be taught as a Decepticon. So, he's conflicted. When he finds out the truth, Thundercracker abandons the Decepticons. Not so much joins the Autobots, but he leaves the conflict openly. With Starscream around the corner wanting to get his spot as, head honcho back with the Decepticons, Bruticus, formed from the Combaticons, and Astrotrain wage their fight against Soundwave and the Constructicons. And essentially the humans on planet Earth are caught dead center in the crossfire. Cliffjumper, who is still stuck on Cybertron, is forced to work with Elita 1, even though he knows what she was trying to pull. He's got the goods on her, so he's very timid. But with absolutely no choice left, he has to work with her if he has any hope of getting back to Earth and to Team Prime. Unfortunately, we learned that Cliffjumper lost his whole clan during the war, and he was able to harvest and salvage spark fragments into this little stasis tube that he had hidden in Decepticon-held territory, and he's convinced Elita 1, we gotta go to the Well of Sparks, because with this stasis tube filled with spark fragments, we can make a brand new Autobot warrior, a game changer. And Elita goes, well, that's cute, but where are we gonna get the materials for that? Well, when Cliffjumper was sucked into the space bridge to Cybertron, Carly's van, the pimped out, a custom paint job van, was sucked into Cybertron too. And it's like, oh, we'll turn a human van into a transformer? Okay. And luckily in this volume we see that Warpath, even though he had his arm blown off, he still survived. But unfortunately Cup and Huffer, they didn't make it. They're gone. But Elita still has several well-known fan favorite characters at her disposal, like Blades, Blur, and Bluestreak. And let me tell you something, Bluestreak, this guy is vicious. I mean, CQC Metal Gear Solid No Mercy vicious.
Funny thing is, I always thought Prowl from the IDW continuity was always the coldest Autobot. But in Skybound, nah, Bluestreak's all like, hold my beer.
Honestly, I never saw that coming, but I get it. It's a war. You gotta do what you gotta do to survive. Eventually, I guess we'll call it Team Elita 1, they make it into Decepticon territory. They make it to the Well of Sparks, and yes, Cliffjumper plugs in the stasis tube and creates what we now know is the OP as hell Shredhead. And honestly, I thought this was going to be a big fake out. Like, this guy's going to be all build up but zero payoff. No, this guy is a powerhouse. Several, I guess you can say, C-lister Decepticons, like, they're not anyone's fan favorite. They're known, especially if you're a hyper fan like me, but they go down easy to this guy's Energon Saber. It's like, don't even bother. Run the other way. This guy's coming. Shredhead literally shreds Decepticreeps, and I love it. And while this is all going on Cybertron, Prime and his Autobots are stuck trying to play damage control without really having the means of doing anything to stop the conflict between the Decepticons. Their little mini civil war is destroying entire cities, but then lo and behold, in the last pages of the last issue, Megatron shows up. He's missing his arm, both his eyes are plucked out. He's using Laserbeak as a surrogate source of eyes, that way he can at least see where he's going. And he ends the Civil War with just one word: enough. End of Volume 3. Prime had no choice but to friggin' retreat. Volume 4, the big finale of the Daniel Warren Johnson ride. It is all coming to an end, and what an ending it was. With Megatron back on scene in this volume, the Autobots don't know what they're going to do. They don't know how to stop him. This, as vicious as Starscream is, no, Megatron's on a whole nother level. He even smoked Astro Train just to make a point that he is top dog. Just to show he can wipe you all out and there ain't a damn thing you can do about it. And to make things even worse, when the Autobots are shoring up their defenses back on the Ark, they're getting ready to make a big final stand, Thundercracker and Skywarp, they collude and they use Skywarp's teleportation ability to teleport the whole Ark to parts unknown. We don't even know where they ended up, not a clue. That's probably going to be mentioned sometime in Volume 5. Maybe. We don't know. So now the Autobots don't even have their own base to call home. Just right when they revived the aerial bots for a little bit of additional muscle, now the Autobots got their own combiner on the team. They have nowhere to make a last stand, and they're forced to retreat again. And Megatron blows off one of Superion's arm and instantly kills one of my favorite aerial bots, Slingshot. I mean, come on, why did it have to be him? Kill Firefly or Skydive. They have no personality at all anyways. You leave Air Raid and Silverbolt alone. But Slingshot? Really? Come on. God, it's brutal. Like I said, this is rated R Transformers. These are dark stories. We do see Ultra Magnus get his chance at redemption. He wussed out of volume number 2. His PTSD through the torture of Shockwave made it impossible for him to take up arms against the Decepticons. But luckily, after getting a little bit of a talk down from a chaplain who's also a former G.I. Joe while held in human custody, he's able to, get his nuts and bolts back. And while Prime is still suffering from the effects of Megatron's corrupted arm, even after they tear it off, it's already too late. The corruption's already spreading throughout his body and infecting the Matrix. This is bad. This is really, really bad. Because without the Matrix, there is no hope. So Ultra Magnus does get his moment to shine. He rallies the Autobots in a last stand while Spike tries to do what his father did and jump into the Matrix, but instead inadvertently acts as a conduit for Optimus to travel into the Matrix. In the journey throughout the Matrix, Prime finds the cure to the madness that is Megatron that's infecting him, and he's able, with the help of Sparky's consciousness, cure himself, bring himself back online, and challenge Megatron directly. At this point on Cybertron, Elita 1, who's cooperating for the most part with Cliff and the new Shredhead, she is able to bring a space bridge back online. But unfortunately, because there's no space bridge location 2 on Earth, they can only just send one person back because the amount of energon needed is too much. So they're only going to send one bot back, and she suggests, Cliffjumper, you go. You help Prime. But really, she's just trying to get rid of him because she wants to use Shredhead as a weapon. But Shredhead, who's he's a newborn, essentially. And Cliffjumper has been able to explain to him how he came to be, how he used to be Carly's minivan, and he was created with the sparks of Cliffjumper's clan. Shredhead starts to form a bond with Cliffjumper, and he wants to meet Carly. So Cliff, he decides to do like a backwards somersault flip and throw Shredhead through the portal, sending Shredhead to Earth. And Elita, she does not like that and has him arrested as a traitor. We don't know what happens next, so I guess we'll have to see what happens in Volume 5. Their big showdown was pretty epic. It was brutal, it was unforgiving, but unfortunately, innocent people keep getting caught in the crossfire, and that forces Prime to hesitate, and Megatron takes advantage of this and brings back the big W. He beats Prime senseless, sticks him on a death spike. He tries to force Prime to choose. Who lives, who dies? The humans or your buddy Beachcomber? And if you don't choose, I'll just kill them all. Choose. And at the last second, Shredhead, he just jumps in and he souffle shish kebabs Megatron brutally with that sword of his. I couldn't believe it. He got the drop on him and he took him to the cleaners. Unfreaking believable. It was beautiful. And sure enough, Shredhead cuts Prime down. You get the mother of all callbacks to the original 86 movie. Prime yanks the spike out of his abdomen and he goes, "You who are without mercy, you now plead for it? I thought you were made of sterner stuff." Prime swings, connects with Buckethead, and he's out of here. The Decepticons are in full retreat, and that's the game. What an ending. Holy shit. Well done, Daniel Warren Johnson. What a conclusion. What an ending. What a guy. And the last frame is literally showing that the Matrix is starting to recover. It will take time, but there's still hope. And that's what makes this ending perfect. All in all, what makes these stories so special to me personally, as one of the older fans who has been enjoying the Transformers since the 80s, it's not just the rated R action. It's not even the darker tone of the comic. It's these type of personable stories that are written for a little bit more mature audience that want great character growth and also just want to see homage, like proper pathos paid in full to our fan favorite characters. Like I said earlier, I'm sick and tired of people introducing Cliff just to kill him off, like a joke. And this version of Optimus Prime, this new journey of his where he has to discover that balance between peace and aggression with the help of Sparky's consciousness still in the Matrix, nothing short of beautiful. It's just such an incredible journey. We see the heart and soul, even Starscream's backstory. It's a tragedy, and by the end of it, you feel sorry for him. You really do. Doesn't necessarily mean he's redeemable, sure, but wow. And it's all Megatron's fault, because in this version of the Transformers, he has his own version of the Matrix of leadership. I don't know if it's literally the Decepticon Matrix or the Dark Spark or the Dead Matrix, whatever you want to call it, but he's got one. And with it, he's able to brainwash, control anyone that he comes in physical contact with. It seems to also be able to completely repair his own soldiers that swear fealty to him. And this is opening up like a whole new level of what the hell. Like, where is this going to go from here? There's two Matrixes. Are they going to have like some sort of Goku, Vegeta, Matrix Final Flash Kamehameha showdown or something like that? I hope they do, because that would be awesome. Anyways, aside from that, this was a great conclusion to a 2-year-long run with Daniel Warren Johnson's story. It sucks to see him go, but we get it. We understand. Hopefully you do come back. I really do hope you do come back. But thanks for the ride. I'm still going to keep my eye on this story, see where it goes from here. But honestly, even if this is the stopping point for me as a fan, it's okay. Because this was special, and it should have been enjoyed by all Transformers fans, young and old, new, seasoned like myself. It didn't matter. This was for everyone. It was incredible, and for that, we thank you, Daniel, for real. So that about wraps this one up. A little bit longer than usual. I wanted to cover as much as possible. I know I missed a lot of the finer points, but for the sake of not turning this into an hour-long video, I had to break it down and just cover the major plot points. And apart from that, you all have yourself a great day. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you soon.
Forever.